doctor. My name's Evan. This is Joe and Anna. And our slogan is routine medical care anytime, anywhere. So basically what we're going to talk today about is what are the needs right now in the developing world, some of the concerns we have, what are the different things that they have right now, what is a trike basically, what makes that a good solution, and pretty much why we're progressing through that, what we're planning on doing, and where we're going.
So our proposal focuses on getting medical attention, not just in developing countries, but in countries, or regions of those countries that are remote. So we have a classic, infomercial picture on our slides here. But our kids are not only sick, they're also geographically isolated. These are little pueblos or towns that are dotting like the Sahara or the jungle kind of thing. How do you get medicine to these folks? One of the interesting statistics, the World Health Organization has all kinds of interesting numbers showing that millions and millions of people in these areas are dying from really treatable diseases. There are things like chickenpox and mumps, measles, and basic things where all they really need is a shot, not some complicated medical service. And so most of the things that we see is after the epidemic's already spread, they send in an expensive helicopter to solve the problem. So we wanted to get there ahead of time and provide prevention instead. But so why isn't this happening today? There's a lot of really realistic challenges. One is rough terrain. It's really hard to get out there, really far away. It's hours even by four-wheel drive. The villagers are dispersed. They're not concentrated in one area where you can just put a hospital, for example. Transportation options are expensive. A helicopter is millions of dollars, and there aren't many doctors really nearby. So we looked at what are ways today that people get medical attention to villages in remote areas in the developing world. This chart qualitatively shows cost on the vertical axis, and back here on the bottom is time of travel getting to the patients. And just to orient you, so walking is over here, so it's extremely cheap, but it takes a really long time to get there. And your cost would be shoes if you have them in the village. On the other opposite end is the helicopters, which cost millions of dollars, but it certainly gets there really quickly. Other common ways, 4x4 trucks. Again, it can still take many hours to get there depending on if there are roads anywhere, but it's still quite expensive. So we were looking for something that would address doing it fast as well as be much cheaper. So our concept is using something called a trike, which we'll explain in the next slide. And the beauty of the trike is that a used one may cost $3,000, or the top end is about $30,000. So it's much less than trucks. Because it's a flying option, it's almost as fast as a helicopter for a fraction of the cost.
All right, so basically what is a trike? A trike is an ultralight aircraft, which means it's probably about 250 pounds or so just for the base without people at all. And they have modified hang glider wings, which are basically sort of a rigid structure that's ultralight, but it has like a fabric over the top, allowing it to sort of float over a lot of the thermoclines. A lot of times too, actually every time with these, they have what's it called? Weight shift control. So pretty much you're moving the handlebar in the front to control where you're going. When you accelerate, you sort of ascend, decelerate, you descend. So it's a little different orientation, but it's very intuitive based on people who've already been doing this for a little while. So basically these can travel a number of different ranges based on the caliber of the equipment you're using. So the lower end, usually like 100 miles or so, sort of total range. Higher end that can travel 250, 300 miles. So it really depends on how much you're pumping in is how far you can get out of it. And this technology has been around for quite a while. It was developed by NASA, I think, in the 1960s. So ever since then, they're progressing on this, and they've had new developments, sort of streamline it, make it safer, just make it a better solution overall. So basically, this is a good solution because it's sustainable. It's something we can put in place, keep it there, have people fly around and fly back, and you can store it at the location. You don't need to call in a helicopter. Roads are basically unnecessary, because a lot of times through these areas, roads can just be washed away if there's flooding or something, and it can take quite a large capital cost to actually get them going in the first place. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on what kind of terrain you're going through. These trikes can be repaired locally, for the most part. There's a lot of components in there that are similar to cars, but they're more simplified versions. So it's something that people there can, with a little bit of instruction, actually go in and fix themselves. They're very cost effective compared to like some kind of a road or a car, four-wheel. Just net cost and also gasoline cost, it's much more economical in the long term to have something like this in place. So basically actually we'll just go with this. So the basic progression we have, concept of operations, is someone from a remote village decides that they have an issue, they need to get help, they need to take you know, quite a long trek to go to some village that has a doctor or something of the like, where they can get medical assistance. And then once the doctor there realizes that he needs to go somewhere, has a destination, figures out where he needs to go, he can fly there in a fraction of the time it would normally take, and then fly back afterwards.
Alright, so the key aspects of our trike design are that we're going to add robustness to the initial design. Increasing the engine's power and the wingspan makes it able to fly further distances and be more stable. The components we want to be repairable with local materials so that it can be maintained in these small villages, as well as having all-terrain landing gear so it can land and take off safely, depending, you know, on the terrain. It's not as much a factor, and having enough storage capacity for the doctor's medical tools. So our plan at this point is to continue our research into the wing designs. We've contacted a owner of a trike and are hoping to get with him to see it in flight, as well as we're going to build and test a model trike and develop our business plan further. So in conclusion, we're going to provide access for doctors in remote regions of the world. It'll be locally sustainable, low cost, using current technology to save millions of lives and provide opportunities for social and economic prosperity in these regions.
Sorry.
Any questions?
Okay. So you mentioned that you want this, one of the design aspects is that you want it to be repaired locally, be able to.
Right.
Did you investigate into what kind of tools they have locally and which like designs you can do and which you can't?
That's something we need to investigate further.
Most of the locals tend to have basic repair tools. The people that live in these villages are really self-sustaining. They make their own houses and clothing, etc. So the trike is wings made out of fabric that it can tolerate, like a wool or cotton fabric, for example, that the villagers would already have. And whatever they would use to make their houses with, like either it's pieces of rock, slate, or wood, could be used to make most of the members of the trike. That's why we chose a design. It's pretty simple, straightforward, and our alpha prototype is right there, as you can see.
So you intend to build the fabric out of locally available fabrics and the frame made out of like wood and stuff like that?
We intend to supply them one that's factory made to begin with, but if there is a repair issue, they can repair it on site using local materials.
Okay, thanks.
Are you going to increase the storage capacity of trike? Like if there are many bulky medical equipments, will it destabilize the glider?
Well, what we're planning to do is not have it off to one side or the other, but either behind the driver or underneath, so that the stability is maintained through the center of the vehicle.
Is there a case of epidemic and you need to carry many medicines? So you have space for that.
That's one of our criteria. We need to add as much space as possible for
We
that.
expect it for about 50 pounds, which is more than enough to provide vaccinations. Our goal is to provide a hospital-sized environment, but to get out there with immunizations, which is where most of the problems are.
Also with a lot of these regions too, there's not a large concentration of people, so you get, I don't know, 50 vaccines or so, fly it out, try and hit the area, but then you're out of gas, you need to come back, resupply, go to a different area, because they're all concentrated in different regions.
I don't know much about modern day trikes, but so how safe are these? Are there accidents and how fast do they travel?
I mean, there are accidents sometimes, but right now it's, you don't fly in conditions that are over like 20-mile-an-hour winds. You don't fly at night because you can't see. I guess there's a wide range of speeds. They range from about 45 miles an hour to over 110 miles an hour. So, but then, like, you don't really go that fast if you don't know how to control it or if it's not capable. So, based on like where you're at, it's pretty safe.
Okay, I think we're going to have to close. Right, thank you.